we got qeast playing as our purple Celts player, while our yellow Celts player is Andres. I didn't expect this to actually be a mirror match, but qeast is saying he figured all this extra starting food is better for Celts. That's an interesting decision. Andres really been making a name for himself lately, some quite solid games against higher level players and winning his way through the lower level tournaments. So, well, qeast returning after being a bit of a star of lower level PvE last year. So these fish are swimming inside the land. I don't know how they're quite managing to do that. Little mud skippers. So we got Long Swordsman OP up against Doorhoman. I don't know what that means, but that's pretty self-explanatory, I'd say. It looks like qeast is just going for a dock at this point. No fishing, I mean, no houses for him, but he's starting to fish pretty heavily, and he's even going to look at investing in boats here, I think. Andres, a little bit luckier with his fish, spawning behind the TC rather than in front. Does make it a little bit harder to actually harass those boats with ranged units or with warships without having to contend with the town center. But Andres will be able to get going with the second TC a little bit quicker here. He's now adding his houses. And getting the first of his fishing boats. So our players will be getting to age 2 soon. If qeast is going to have one more boat, or if he's going to look at starting to get some stone so he can get that second town center, because he's going to probably make a bit of an economic choice here. Oh no, he's already going to start getting some more gold. No fishing boat just yet. So you're going to go for the stone mine. Oh, and he's still going to go for the gold mine anyway. So Andres, his second TC, he's over halfway there for the resources. He needs 300 wood and stone for that. qeast is just pumping out the fishing. He'll be up that fishing boat. And he's also up a few villages because he hasn't started aging up yet. Andres nearly finished age 2. Hasn't got his boats out just yet. So his eco, this stage is a little bit smaller, a little bit less boomy. qeast now going to have to age up, so that'll tighten the gap on the eco. qeast is going to have to add a lot of stone here. He's already got the wood he needs for a second TC, but he definitely needs a lot more stone. Andres needs a lot more wood, funnily enough, so opposite situations there for our players. qeast can actually look at adding another fishing boat here, I think, or yeah, adding a lot of production. He doesn't seem to have made use of a lot of this early wood. So yeah, well, he's going to get a swan ship. But the problem is... Sorry. Everything's at the back here for Andres. So this is going to be a bit rough here, in the sense that Andres can really just navigate units around the map to get around the warship if it gets parked here, and qeast can potentially lose it trying to dive the fishing boats. It gets hard trying to hit the land economy. Early on it's not such a problem because everything's so close, but later on, you know. So it's definitely not game-ending harassment here yet from qeast. In fact, you could look at starting to throw down production while working towards the second town center, because it's got a fair bit of wood in the bank. Andres, for the moment, is just adding that second TC outside of range of that land there. So this is not great for qeast. He can potentially lose this warship for very little value here. He's just going to back out. So a bit of a shame he didn't scout this out to start with, because now he's invested in this swan ship that he's not going to make a great use of. Get his second TC a little bit slower than Andres. 22 vils to 24 in favour of qeast. So he does have that up his sleeve. Slightly better vil production here. But his opponent will be finishing that second TC faster and really close that gap. Oh no, qeast, this isn't going to be worth it. It's not going to be worth it. You're going to lose it. Oh no, he is going to get out in time. It's very low though, so he's going to have to try and repair it. Ideally, he's probably best off having a villager rather than a boat come to repair this and actually just bring it home for the repair, because it minimizes the disruption to his economy. He hasn't actually thrown down any military production yet. Andres has been a bit slow to start as well, but bearing in mind he's really ramped up his fishing boats to 4. qeast is only on the 2. Andres is even going to get net lures, so his food eco is looking really impressive, and he can actually cut all food eco he's getting on the land at the moment to just, you know, put that into the gold gathering, or, you know, throw up some more production, get the wood for that. You don't want to be sitting on these sorts of banks for too long. qeast has got a lot in the bank. Oh, I mean, he could potentially be going to age 4, age 3, sorry. So he does have the resources to do... Oh, he needs a few houses though. And even still, you probably want to have a barracks or 2 on the way at this point. Here we go. So this is more what qeast wants to do with this. Have it get repaired to full. Then go in with a boat as well. So you can keep repairing, tanking the fire. So qeast getting a bit of value now out of this. Really quite big brain stuff. And in fact, if he sends this boat home, brings a full health one, he can definitely get a fair bit of damage done, unless Andres target fires the fishing boat. There's some nice early harass there from qeast. Our villagers eco population is locked up at 39 apiece. Things are actually really quite even there. qeast is now going for it again. So, Andres up to the task here. Keeping those boats alive. He's gonna end up spending on a guard tower. So in a way this makes things worthwhile for qeast, because he's already sniped a boat. He's already forced out this guard tower now, so he can probably not worry about repairing the swan ship at this point. Just going back and gathering what food he can with the fishing boat, I think. Just really focus on transitioning to land, because he really needs to get conditioning. There's no need for spears in this matchup, pretty much at all, because if your opponent's already got cavalry, they're only doing so because they've got age 3, which means you need age 3 ASAP anyway, because horsemen are just really hard to deal with if you've only got long swordsmen and spearmen. Spearmen might counter them, but they're an age 1 unit versus an age 3 unit. That's never really going to bode well. A few idlers here from qeast, so that's not ideal for his gathering now. Andres looking at making a bit of a push, investing in the second tower. So I'm not sure how I feel about this, considering qeast can probably hit the starting TC a little bit easier anyway. But, I mean, it does offer him plenty of protection here for this eco. Though it is a bit of an expense. 255 resources for the guard tower. You can get a production facility for that sort of money. qeast probably wants to get this boat back to work here. And, oh, he's gone for a second dock. I don't know why actually he's done this, but he's going to lose 3 villages. And it's going to force a fight here. Andres has moved out. qeast is going age 3 behind us. Actually up in terms of population, 48 to 55. So qeast has got a bigger army. Does need these slingers to get into the fight though, as well as both swan ships. populations are really sad. Oh, he's got so many units in the queue as well. Definitely needs to cancel a few of those and throw down some more production buildings. I think Andres is going to be able to outproduce here. He just looks like he's got at least 3 barracks at this point. Making spearmen, I don't actually know why. I suppose, can they snare boats? Oh yeah, they can actually. So that might really be the only reason you'd want spears in this matchup, is because they can actually snare boats. Which is kind of weird, that a bloke with a sharp stick can slow down a boat so much without actually sinking it. This doesn't make a lot of sense, bro. Where's the realism? Okay, he's transitioning to age 3, getting the stables now, but he definitely wants villagers on those pretty quickly here. Deletes the fishing boat, oh, because he's out of fish there. Understandable. Have a nice day. Andres still age 2, pretty healthy looking population though, and he is up 65 to 51 on Eco Pop. Let's start getting armory upgrades. Already gotten all his age 2 Bard Hall upgrades. There's not a lot of army here. He's got to be a bit quicker on transitioning to these additional production buildings. A lot of gold in the bank he doesn't actually need at the moment. A huge amount of spears here for Andres, but there's not even any horsemen here yet for qeast. I mean, Andres is probably best off transitioning, but I mean, it does look as though he's starting to creep ahead on eco. And just with the sheer amount of production he's had over qeast so far. He's going to get Silver Age now. He's probably not going to bother with transitioning to the stables if he can end this quick. I mean, I don't think qeast is completely out of this, but he does need to rebalance his economy. Get all these guys off... Well, not all of them, but get a lot of them off the wood and off the gold, and put them on the food and the stone right now. Tower up around your base, and you know, just completely pump out as much as you can. Third TC going up here for qeast, but he hasn't got the army here defending it, which is means he's going to lose a couple of these villages for free. 58 to 68 for that. He is going to be able to get the town centre, but he just needs to start garrisoning. Oh no, he might be able to get away here. Disrupt some more barracks. Let's have those stables, but I think the amount of production that Andres has had over him is really giving him a big advantage here in production. He's starting to catch up now, he's only 20 pop down. He does have a good number of horsemen and slingers here, but he ideally wants to have bowmen just for dealing with this composition, just higher base damage as well as that bonus against the infantry. As the slingers are really only tickling 65, 6.5 damage per attack. Whereas, well, we've got some bowmen. 11 damage and then a 25% bonus against infantry. So they're just all round a better unit, unless you're fighting against the ranged, obviously, because, you know, slingers with that 4.25 multiplier. Andres adding more and more production, creeping further and further forward to towards qeast. Gonna secure a lot of resources. Qeast getting a couple of farms now, but he really needs to transfer down over here. He's over here on the berries, but it's going to be hard for him to get on top of this food, so Andres is denying over there pretty well. Actually getting Swanship Champion, which is an interesting upgrade at this point. I suppose it does actually help with sieging this shoreline. It looks as though qeast is not being baited into this, and it's going to be difficult trying to find a spot here for Andres, because he's got to not get too close to that town centre. And the horseman in front line is going to be very handy for qeast here. That warship goes down. Andres still up a little bit of population at the moment. 75 to 60 for Ecopop. Qeast adding... Well, he's getting an armory now, but he'd be trailing on armory upgrades, yeah. Andres has got all of his H2 upgrades. Hasn't started any H3, but Qeast hasn't even started any of his H2 upgrades so far. So it's going to be a rough fight for Qeast, particularly because he does still have a good number of slingers. And not a good number of bowmen. I mean, especially against woads. And even, well, just this whole infantry mass. Andres has definitely got a better comp here, or the comp with the edge. Qeast valiantly trying to hold on here, but Andres is finding a way through with his mass melee. Andres struggling a bit for food, but he's got plenty of the other resources in the bank, while Qeast struggling even more so for food. And right now, his farms are empty, villagers being killed or forced off. I think this may be it for Qeast. Trying to pull the villagers off the farms there for a second. I don't actually know what he's going to do with that. A lot still in production, but they can't hit the field fast enough or in enough mass that he does have this little force up the back here, though. He needs these guys to stop moving and just attack. One of his town centers falling, and Andres taking the game. Oops, I've had the scores back to front the whole time. I'm sorry, guys. That's really quite rough of me. Laziness. Absolute laziness.